How's it going, everyone? It is Thursday, July 25th, 2024. Let's get into the picks from the last video. First one here, VKTX time spread. So took it yesterday for 99-cent debit. I got out this morning at an 80-cent credit on the opening candle. You can see here how we got this little bit of a bullish engulf on the open, and I had to be extra wary because we already had a gap in the morning of about 16%. Now, on the setup yesterday on VKTX, we know that the expected move was about 20%. The average move was about 6%. So I was already in some dangerous waters, and I was looking to see what the first candle would be like. If we got a long red candle that was able to break through its 50 SMA right here, then I would feel pretty confident that I could get a very nice profit on this candle. When I didn't see that, we got a nice long red candle, then we rejected back up to form this bullish hammer. I took the small loss on the position. So VKTX, small loss. Took profits on snow this morning. And then here is what I saw on snow. So we got this long green candle on the open, and it was actually when the market was doing pretty much nothing over here. So when I saw this long green candle, my original profit target was about $25, but it looks like snow had found some support a little bit above that, about $25.54. So on this long green candle, I set a profit target for about $26, and I got filled on that for a nice win. So I'm just going to update those in the YouTube picks. Where is this? This is a win. This is a loss. So far we are 0 for 2 on the earnings time spreads. Just have not been quite going our way. The other pick I gave yesterday was an ALAB, a day trading short. And it looked really good when I called the video over here. Still pretty decent. It had a pretty tall bounce later in the day. So didn't end up actually taking this trade. There was an opportunity to get in on this, LRSI pullback, low minus breakdown here, but the market wasn't really staging a bounce at this point. So you're really kind of trading more of the market than the stock in this case. Still an opportunity because of a bearish trend day. This stock is going to kind of regain its footing a little bit, but didn't end up taking the trade. I think there were some better trades to take on that sort of day. So yesterday, I think, was a little bit tougher for me mentally. I was kind of waiting for a big bounce. And I also noticed, two things that I saw here. I outlined a scenario in that video that, look, we could get a bounce, we could get a sharp reversal, or we could get this leg lower if the market is unable to rally for a little while, for about 2 hours. And that's kind of what happened here. You can see it was flatlining here from pretty much about 12:05 to about 1:50, 2:05, right? It's kind of, marginally low. We're getting some green candles here. We try to stage a bounce, but a lot of tiny green candles, and there's nothing that we can really get going at this level. This was the only candle here. No follow through, double top, and then we get the lower low. We kind of give up the opening of this candle, and we're probably going to go lower. So very bearish trend day yesterday. Let's take a look at what the market is doing today. So after a pretty big drop yesterday, we got about more than a 2% decline in the market. We tested that 50 SMA. We got close to this horizontal support around 540. Still, again, mildly bullish fundamentally. It's just we're seeing some weakness from the mega cap tech news. We want to see how the rest of mega cap tech goes starting next week as well. We have 2 of them reported. We get another 4, and then NVIDIA is going to come in August. So we're kind of waiting to see that news as well. We got some look at GDP this morning. Came out a little bit better than expected, 2.8 versus 2%. First look at initial jobless claims, which isn't anything super crazy. So, they've got some economic news. The main thing, though, is going to be the mega cap tech earnings and the FOMC statement next week. I personally feel that the FOMC statement is going to be one in terms of the rate cut. Market's not expecting a rate cut here, but they have a pretty good chance of a rate cut priced in for September. I believe it's very high, close to 80 or 90%. So very certain there. I think that has some more opportunity for fireworks if the Fed decides to pause one more month or not. That could affect the market outcome. So that's kind of the outlook on terms of the rate cuts. But it's really, to me, it's going to be what are their implications on when are they going to start cutting the rates, and maybe how dovish or hawkish they're going to be. But if the economy is strong, I don't think they're going to take their foot off the pedal as much. They want to see a little bit more inflation data come in, but the signs are coming down. I mentioned some fundamental stuff a few videos ago. I'm not going to get too into it right now, but really it's just, again, how does everything affect the bottom line, which is earnings? What are the rate cut implications? What are the implications of AI? What's kind of the broad market sentiment here? We talked about the narrow market concentration, specifically of mega cap tech stocks. We saw some sector rotation into IWM. We know that RSP had a big spike up after the inflation number. So we know that there is some reallocation into those funds, some selling from mega cap tech, some reallocation into the broader market areas, which I think should be for a healthier market. Now, on a longer term time frame, we're watching to see if we get any sort of bounce. And I think I'm expecting a bounce. I don't know when it's going to happen, and I don't know how strong it's going to be. And it's going to depend on, one, the mega cap tech releases, and two, how deep this pullback is going to be. Now, if we get a pretty strong bounce over here, we could waffle around for the next month or two. If it's pretty weak, we could see some weakness for the next month or two after mega cap tech earnings, maybe August, maybe September. I am hoping, though, that we may see hopefully some situation like we saw last August and September, where we got kind of a weakish decline. We're coming off, this came off reversal, and we got a very nice post-holiday rally. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for the end of the year. We could get very aggressive on some swing longs. We could add to positions. We could scale into the positions, and we can make a very good deal of money. So that's kind of a longer term outlook. On a very shorter term time frame here, we've seen a pretty good amount of selling. Especially yesterday, that was a very, very nice bearish trend day. So still mildly bearish in the shorter term, but the M5 may potentially change that bias. We got a flat open today. We poked down into the here, almost pretty much filled in the gap. Gap fill was going to be at around 537.01. If we look at the D1 chart, we were below the 50 SMA. We poked through the gap here, just found some support at this high right above it. And then the market had a pretty decent rally all the way up to make a new high of the day through the 50 SMA on some decent volume, and really produced on this 1OP bull cross. Okay, so what does this mean? Are we going to reverse here? Well, we're going to have to gauge the strength of this pullback. So right now you're seeing that, look, over here, we know that our market bias should be, if anything, mildly bullish right now, right? Because we got this super strong move, and then we get a pretty tall bounce over here. So I'm mildly bullish, and I'm waiting to see just what this bear cycle brings. If it's a weak bear cycle, then I'm going to get more bullish, and I can take some relatively strong stocks. If it is pretty deep, let's say we get some stacked red candles, we break back through the 50-day SMA, through VWAP, get close to the low of the day. Okay, now I'm expecting some two-sided price action, perhaps a range-bound day with a very, very wide range. And then we can take both relatively strong and relatively weak stocks. So that is sort of what I'm watching for over here. And I personally feel that it's a little bit more likely that we have a weaker pullback, but we're going to wait and see what happens. I'm not married to any sort of side right now. I'm just watching to see the level of retracement. Now, there's a couple things that we want to watch out for over here. The first one is if you're on some relatively weak shorts. So I took a Dell short right here, a 111.35. The market had a pretty strong reversal, but Dell has remained relatively weak compared to what I saw in the market. So we're at VWAP over here. I don't know how much weaker Dell can go. I don't know how much weaker the market's going to go, but I have a whole fresh bearish cycle to work with, and I'm willing to let Dell at least come back down, potentially even test the low of the day. So we'll see if I'm looking for a couple of things here. If this market cycle is very, very weak, I'm looking to take the best possible loss on Dell. If the market cycle ends to be very strong, I know I can probably at least get a small win on Dell, and I will take that. I will take a small win on a stock like Dell. So just watching to see what happens over here in the market. Now, if we have a weaker market pullback, we're going to try to find some stocks that are relatively strong. So that's kind of the game plan today. I think this pullback is going to be very important. I actually put it out in the chat. And I'm going to put on a couple of picks over here, and then I'm going to get into JMIA as well just in a second. So I'm going to remove ALAB. First things though, for your option that I like was, if I scroll down over here, AVTR. So let's look at this stock. AVTR. So earnings coming out. Looks like it's going to be before the open tomorrow. Now, typically, the stock has about a 6% move. The expected move, pricing higher, about double. Exceeds earnings very low, has a very, very high difference. Decent option liquidity. So I like what I see in AVTR. So that is going to be one earnings time spread pick for today. And I am just going to be marking that chart. Some other ones that look promising. Some of these are just a little bit too high exceeded to warrant the difference. But I want to have a very high difference generally. So AVTR is looking pretty good. Okay, let's look at some tags here. So a couple things that are strong. Healthcare was quite strong earlier today. I like RTX quite a bit as well. Nice post-earnings move. And I'm really favoring some of these earnings stocks over here because they're really moving under their own power. You can see that RTX is gaining some relative strength. It's found some support right at VWAP over here. Looks like it may be testing these highs. So we're looking for this stock to kind of line up with SPY. Then we can take a very high probability trade. RTX is looking pretty nice. TMO Healthcare got a very strong bid. Looks like it is compressing and holding the gains. This is a beautiful setup on TMO. Potentially could be the pick of the day. I'm watching to see if there's any sort of resistance at this level. Potentially some resistance coming up around 600, maybe over here, 602. So there's a little bit of room, not a ton of room. So it's a good setup, just not a ton of room. So I don't think it's my top pick, but certainly could do much worse. Our good friend VKTX has been soaring today, broke through a lot of TA, very heavy volume. I like this setup a lot, and if I draw this downward sloping trend line, let's see if this is breached. Looks like we got a breach there. I like VKTX a lot. This stock has just been going higher. It's completely doing its own thing. So this actually may be my pick of the day here. I just want to get in on some sort of pullback. You can see that it moves up higher, gets hit, moves up higher, gets hit, and part of this is also because this stock is just breaking through a lot of levels here, right? So when you have this super strong R vol here, that's what can break through a lot of these levels. And you see that it just pauses through these levels, even when the market is going down. So if you have a stock, this is like as bullish as you can get stock like this, and you have a market that has a tailwind, that is the recipe for when you can break through a lot of these TA. So here, just waiting for a bit of a dip on the stock. You can see that it dips a little bit and then rallies up higher. Right now, the stock has actually been gaining relative strength, holding the high of the day while the market has been pulling back. So that is a very nice sign of relative strength. The bear cycle is still pretty fresh, so I want to give this a little bit more time. But I like VKTX. If we can get a little bit of pullback here, and we get maybe an HE reversal, an LRSI cross, or if the pullback is weak and we just hug the high of the day, I wouldn't mind getting in on this stock. So I think that's going to be my long pick of the day. Add that to the YouTube picks. YouTube picks, where are you? All right, I just got to make a new, put it over here. Okay. JMIA. Let's look at our good friend here. So this stock, it did get beaten up a little bit, but now we found some support way back from the July 18th candle. Now, if the market ends up finding some support here over these next couple of days, I do think that we can get a surge in JMIA, potentially add to the position. We want to see how it does. Potentially add to the position here and take some nice profits. So definitely got sucked down a little bit by the market. That's okay. But it has held pretty much all the gains during that market decline. If you look at what happened from the 16th to now, the stock has gone down about $1, which is a 1 ATR move here, right? If you look at what happened from the 16th to today, market has gone down about $20. About $20. It's a 4% decline, even a 5-6% decline if you go from high to low. So GMI is very strong. I wouldn't mind adding a little bit to that position and then taking gains on the next move up. So VKTX, and I'm going to add a VTR as a time spread. Final, let's look at what happens if this move actually gets some decent selling. So we want to see what stocks have not really been bouncing with the market. And we want to find a stock that hasn't really been a tech stock. So I'm going to go to Bear Grinder here. Lulu was decent. Problem with Lulu is that they may be potentially at some support here. We actually broke through that. We're retesting the support level. A lot of heavy volume. So I'd want to see Lulu potentially break through this downward sloping trend line. CMG, which is Chipotle, that had earnings, I believe. Yeah, had some earnings. Still pretty weak, pretty choppy stock, but it's doing its own thing. I want to look for some non-tech weakness here. Let's go to relatively weak. EW. Let's look at EW here. Wow, super weak post earnings. This is very much doing its own thing. Yeah. So you can see this reaction to the gap. Now we have a nice steady move down lower. Broke through here. So wait for maybe a little bit of a bounce into the 8 EMA and then you can short. EW is very, very nice. Let's see if there's other setups here. And these earning stocks I favor more because, again, they're just really going to do their own thing. BBW, this is a nice breakdown. Very, very nice breakdown in the stock. You can see that has not responded at all to the market, breaking down through support. Have a sell signal here. Yeah, I may even take this short right now. That's how much I like it. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Is there anything potentially coming up over here? A little bit of an earnings candle there. Maybe some support resistance here. Looks fairly good at first glance. So, yeah, I mean, that may be the short of the day over here. BBWI. So, let's add that. That's going to be our short pick of the day. If the market starts to tank, then we can look at BBWI. So I want to add this again to the YouTube picks. And that'll be our day trade short. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll take a look at how these picks did in tomorrow's video. And we'll see if we can get a win on an earnings time spread for this earnings season.